chosen one. Everyone knows it was lies that were spread about you and that it all went too far. The same mouths that once shouted your name now whisper apologies in private. The same hands that pointed fingers are trembling with regret. For so long they painted you as the villain while secretly feeding off your light. They thought they'd buried your name, but all they did was plant it deeper into divine soil. Now every false story is unraveling, every whispered rumor collapsing under its own weight. You didn't have to fight back. Truth fought for you. The silence you hear now isn't emptiness, it's justice echoing, it's peace returning, it's proof that the universe never lets lies outlive the chosen. Let me tell you about this person from your past, this architect of lies, this creator of fictional realities. Someone who had access to you once, someone who knew your patterns, someone who knew your vulnerabilities, someone who knew how to get close, and when that access ended, when you walked away or closed that door, something broke inside this person. Not a heart, an ego, a sense of control, a belief in the ability to manipulate outcomes. So a choice got made, a calculated choice. If having you in life wasn't possible, destroying your life would be the alternative. If being close to you couldn't happen, making sure nobody else could be close became the mission. If controlling you directly wasn't an option, controlling how others perceived you became the strategy. This wasn't heartbreak, this was warfare, strategic, intentional, malicious. A narrative started getting built, not just a simple lie. An entire fictional universe where you played the villain and this person played the victim. A role got cast of the wounded soul who escaped your supposed toxicity. You got portrayed as obsessed, unstable, dangerous even. Your kindness got reframed as manipulation. Your success got claimed as cheating. Your confidence got called narcissism. Your boundaries got labeled as cruelty. Every quality you possess got inverted and presented as its shadow version to anyone who would listen. And here's where true genius for deception showed itself. The story didn't just get told, evidence got created, screenshots got doctored, timelines got manipulated, conversations got taken out of context, technology and social media got used to manufacture proof supporting these lies. A case got built against you like a prosecutor building for trial, except there was no trial, no defense, no due process, just conviction in the court of public opinion. Operating alone isn't possible, working solo can't happen, because lies require maintenance, lies require reinforcement, lies require a community of believers who will repeat the story until it sounds like truth. So recruitment happened. People who loved drama got found. People who loved having someone to tear down got gathered. People who were bored enough or bitter enough or broken enough to participate got collected, and a little gang got built, a mob, an army of gossips who made destroying your reputation their entertainment. This wasn't casual gossip, this was coordinated harassment. This was gang stalking in the digital age. A group of people made watching you their hobby. Your social media got monitored like intelligence surveillance. Everything got screenshotted. Every post got analyzed, looking for hidden meanings. Theories about your intentions got created. Information about you got shared in private chats. Your life became their reality show. And that person from your past became the producer, the showrunner, the one feeding storylines. Every time interest started to fade, a new plot twist got introduced, a new accusation, a new piece of manufactured drama. The audience stayed engaged, the story kept going, the attention kept flowing, because that attention filled something empty inside this person. That focus gave purpose, that drama gave relevance. And for a while it worked. The mob grew. The lies spread, the story became accepted in certain circles. People who'd never met you had opinions about you. People who didn't know your character had judgments about your actions. You became a character in a story you didn't write, a villain in a narrative you didn't create. And the scariest part, defending yourself without looking exactly like the portrayal wasn't possible. Staying silent looked like guilt. Speaking up looked like proof of instability. A perfect trap got built, a no-win situation, a maze with no exit. Except there was an exit. There's always an exit. And you found it by doing something nobody expected. You just kept living. You kept being yourself. You kept operating with integrity. You kept showing up as the authentic version of you, not the fictional version that got created. And slowly, inevitably, the truth started leaking through the lies. It started small. One person in the gang noticed something that didn't add up. Maybe seeing you in person revealed you weren't what got told. Maybe witnessing your character firsthand contradicted the narrative. Maybe seeing you succeeding and happy and whole when destruction and desperation was supposed to be your state created confusion. Maybe critical thinking instead of emotional reaction finally happened. Whatever it was, doubt entered the mind. And once doubt enters a system built on lies, the whole thing becomes unstable. Looking closer started happening. Examining the evidence with actual scrutiny began. Questions that should have been asked from the beginning finally got raised, and proof of the dramatic claims couldn't be found. Evidence of the serious accusations didn't exist. The receipts were missing. The timeline didn't work. The story had holes you could drive a truck through. So pulling back happened, quietly, without announcement, just stopping participation in the gang activity. No more sharing the posts, no more commenting on the drama, no more engaging with the newest accusations. And other people noticed, other people started questioning too. The doubt spread like a virus through the group. Person by person, comparing notes, started happening. Realizing manipulation had occurred became clear. Understanding participation in something unjust settled in. And when people realize manipulation has touched them, when understanding arrives that looking foolish is now reality, anger doesn't stay quiet. Feeling used emerges, feeling stupid surfaces, and all that anger redirects toward the person who lied. That person from your past suddenly found support systems collapsing. People counted on were disappearing. Allies thought to be loyal were backing away. The gang was disbanding, and it was happening fast. Evidence of your real life started surfacing. See, while busy work creating fictional versions of you was happening, you were out here living your actual life, building your actual character, creating your actual success, and that real version of you started becoming visible to the same people who'd been fed lies. Maybe someone close to you finally spoke up and said, "This isn't who this person is at all." Maybe you achieved something that completely contradicted the narrative about your character. Maybe dating someone new started, and the health of that relationship made claims look ridiculous. Maybe your professional success spoke louder than lies about how you got there. Maybe your peace and stability proved claims of instability were projections. Whatever the evidence was, undeniability existed, concrete reality appeared, truth became visible, and the fictional narrative got completely obliterated. People started doing math that should have been done from the beginning. Connecting dots that got ignored started happening. Seeing patterns that got missed became obvious, and realization arrived that participation in something terrible had occurred. Contributing to harassment became clear. Participating in bullying got recognized. Spreading lies about someone innocent became undeniable, and that shame hit hard. That guilt landed heavy, because good people don't want to believe capability for cruelty exists within them. Good people don't want to see themselves as bullies, so when realizing that's exactly what happened, the cognitive dissonance became unbearable. Making it right needed to happen. But how do you make character assassination right? How does apologizing for participating in someone's destruction work? Most couldn't figure it out, so disappearing just happened. Backing away quietly occurred. Stopping engagement entirely became the choice. Hoping you wouldn't notice participation had happened became the silent prayer, and your accuser was left standing alone, completely alone, looking absolutely foolish, with no one left to validate the lies, no one left to support the narrative, no one left to participate in the vendetta. Just isolated, exposed, humiliated, and here's the beautiful part. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to defend yourself. You didn't have to prove anything. You just had to be yourself. Truth defended you. Reality vindicated you. Time revealed everything. And now everyone knows. Everyone knows it was lies. Everyone knows going too far happened. Everyone knows the truth. If these words stirred your consciousness, hype this video to help more chosen ones awaken to this. Another reason painting you as the villain needed to happen: money. This person from your past didn't just lie about your character. Lying about your connection occurred. Telling people you were still together when you weren't happened. Claiming you were still involved when you'd moved on completely was the story. And this happened for a very specific reason. Money got borrowed from people, family, friends, whoever would lend. Financial support got taken under false pretenses. Telling these people you'd help pay it back was the promise. Using your name as collateral happened. Your success as guarantee got leveraged. Your character as credit got exploited. Don't worry, we're still together. The person helping me handle this is reliable. Just going through a rough patch, but my partner will help me through it. Give me some time. Paying you back together will happen. Using your name wasn't casual. Entire stories around your supposed involvement got built. Telling people you were planning things together happened. Claims that decisions were being made together got spread. That your finances were connected became the narrative. Showing people your social media as proof of your success occurred. Look how well this person is doing. The explanation went. Look at what got built. Building that together is what we're doing. Help getting back on feet will come from this person. Promises got made using your reputation as the foundation, and people believed it because knowing you existed, knowing your character was real, knowing you were someone who helped people was understood, someone who showed up for people cared about was your nature, someone who had integrity and follow-through was you. So when this person said involvement existed, making sense happened, sounding believable occurred, feeling true was the result. But complete fabrication was the reality. You weren't involved in any of it. Knowing about these promises didn't happen. No idea your name was being leveraged existed. You'd already moved on with your life, already closed that chapter, already released that person from your energy. But keeping you trapped in the narrative was necessary, because needing you there was essential. Your name held value that could be exploited. Your reputation had currency that could be spent, and spending happened freely, recklessly, without any concern for consequences. Because in the mind of this person, destroying your credibility with the lies already spread meant even if finding out happened, who would believe you? Painting you as unreliable had already occurred, as untrustworthy you'd been portrayed, as someone whose word couldn't be taken seriously was the image. Building the perfect scheme seemed complete. What didn't get anticipated was the math eventually needing to add up. Borrowed money needs repayment, promises need fulfillment, stories need consistency maintained. And slowly the people who gave money started asking questions, started looking for the returns promised, started wondering when the help you were supposedly providing would materialize, and that's when the lies started collapsing under their own weight. Because producing something that doesn't exist isn't possible. Delivering on promises someone else never made can't happen. Providing help that was never offered won't manifest. The fiction met reality and reality won. People believed it. Money got given. Support got offered. Doors got opened. Because thinking you were part of the equation happened. Thinking your resources were involved was the belief. Thinking your integrity backed the commitment seemed logical. But you weren't involved. Knowing about these debts didn't happen. No idea your name was being used existed. You'd moved on completely, and now those people are realizing scamming occurred. Questions are being asked. Where's the money? Where's the help promised? If actually being with this person isn't reality, how exactly is paying back happening? If lying about the relationship occurred, what else got lied about? And no answers exist, because the whole scheme depended on people believing the lies. The whole plan required the narrative staying intact. And now that the narrative has collapsed, the financial safety net has too. The people borrowed from aren't just asking for money back. Questions about you are being asked. Wait, we gave you this because you said this person was helping you. We supported you because making it seem like building something together was happening. We trusted you because we trusted this person you claimed to be with. And when those people realize you had nothing to do with any of it, when understanding arrives that your name got used without your knowledge, something shifts in how this person gets seen. It's not just about the money anymore. It's about the manipulation. It's about the audacity of using someone's name and reputation as leverage. It's about the calculated nature of the deception. People can forgive financial mistakes. People understand hardship, but forgiving being played doesn't happen. Forgetting being used won't occur. Moving past being made into accomplices in fraud isn't possible. So these family members and friends aren't just backing away quietly. Some are talking, comparing notes, realizing how deep the deception went, understanding that if lying about something this significant happened, what else got lied about becomes the question. And that's when the original lies about your character start getting questioned too. People start thinking, if lying about relationship status occurred, maybe lying about everything else happened. If manipulating us financially took place, maybe manipulating emotions and perceptions did too. If using someone's name without permission for money happened, what got done with that person's name when it came to reputation? The financial deception becomes the key that unlocks scrutiny of everything else. And when examining everything else with critical eyes starts happening, the whole structure of lies becomes obvious. Losing wasn't just about financial support. Losing credibility happened. Losing trust occurred. Losing the benefit of the doubt became reality. Losing the ability to tell any story and have it believed is the current state. Because once exposure as a liar in one major way happens, everything ever said becomes suspect. Every claim made gets re-examined. Every accusation thrown gets questioned. And in this case, all those accusations were about you. All those claims were attacks on your character. All those stories were designed to make you look bad. So when people start questioning those stories, when demanding proof of those accusations begins, when actually thinking critically about the narrative sold starts happening, it all falls apart. Because real proof never existed. Legitimate evidence was never there. Only manipulation and performance and carefully constructed fiction was real. While obsessing over you was happening, you were focused on yourself. While creating lies was occurring, you were creating a life. While trying to destroy your reputation was the mission, you were building your character. You weren't sitting around being bitter. You weren't plotting revenge. You weren't consumed with anger. You were healing. You were growing. You were learning. You were becoming. You did the inner work that most people avoid. You faced your wounds instead of projecting them. You examined your patterns instead of repeating them. You took responsibility for your healing instead of making it someone else's job. You learned about boundaries, real boundaries, not walls, not defenses, but healthy limits that protect your energy and honor your worth. You learned what you will and won't tolerate. You learned that explaining yourself to people determined to misunderstand you is a waste of time. You learned that your peace matters more than other people's opinions. You learned that needing everyone to like you or believe you or validate you isn't necessary. You learned to trust yourself even when the world is telling you you're wrong. You learned to stand in your truth even when standing alone is the reality. And those lessons made you powerful. Not loud power, not aggressive power, but quiet, unshakable power. The kind of power that doesn't need to defend itself. The kind of power that doesn't need to prove anything. The kind of power that just is. You weren't just surviving, you were thriving. You weren't just getting by, you were flourishing. You weren't just maintaining, you were expanding. Every metric hoped to show your decline showed growth instead. Every area expected to see you struggle showed strength instead. Every place anticipated for your failure showed success instead. It drove the situation crazy, because in the mind creating this, the lies should have destroyed you, the harassment should have broken you, the isolation should have crushed you, but none of it did. You just kept rising, kept shining, kept winning, and your winning became the losing for them. Your success became the failure there, your joy became the misery elsewhere, and that power became magnetic. It attracted better things, better people, better opportunities, better energy. You started vibrating at a frequency that only certain people could match, people who'd done their own work, people who'd healed their own wounds, people who were ready for real connection instead of performative relationships, people who could see you clearly instead of projecting issues onto you, people who valued you correctly instead of trying to diminish you. And one of those people is here now, or coming very soon, a person who represents everything that got pretended before. This new person in your life is different, not just different from your past, different from anyone you've known, because meeting you at your healed level is happening, matching your growth is occurring, reflecting your work is the reality. Stability exists where chaos was before. Honesty lives where manipulation existed. Security resides where desperation ruled. Respect flows where invasion happened. Consistency shows where unpredictability reigned. Genuine energy emanates where performance dominated. The contrast is so stark it's almost shocking. People are looking at this new connection and realizing how bad the old one really was. Seeing how you're treated now and understanding how mistreatment happened then is occurring. Witnessing the peace in this relationship and recognizing the chaos in the last one is the observation, and that contrast is destroying every lie told about you. Because you got called unstable, but this relationship is the most stable thing people have seen. You got labeled toxic, but this connection is clearly healthy. You got named manipulative, but this partnership is obviously built on respect. You got said to be incapable of maintaining relationships, but here you are in something beautiful. Every accusation made is being disproven by your current reality. Every lie told is being exposed by your present truth, and the timing of this couldn't be more perfect, because watching is happening, seeing you happy is occurring, witnessing you loved is the reality, observing you treated well is what's visible, and destruction from this is taking place, because thinking irreplaceability was real existed before. Thinking you'd never find better was the belief. Thinking you'd spend forever missing them or being damaged by them was the assumption. But you just moved on. You just found better. You just proved that importance believed in was never that significant. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is, you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. And this new person sees you, really sees you. Not the fictional version created before, not some idealized fantasy, but the real you, with your strengths and your flaws and your quirks and your depth. And loving that person is happening. Choosing that person is occurring. Honoring that person is the action. Protecting that person is the mission. This is what you were preparing for. This is what all that healing was leading to. This is the reward for doing the work. What makes this connection even more powerful is how it exposes the nature of what you had before. always saying wanting the best for you was claimed, supporting your dreams was the narrative, pretending celebration of your growth was happening, but actions told a different story. Feeling threatened by your success was the reality. Feeling insecure about your growth existed. Feeling diminished by your accomplishments was true, so trying to keep you small happened. Trying to make you doubt yourself occurred. Trying to convince you that needing them to be complete was necessary became the mission. That without them falling apart would happen was the claim. That doing you a favor by staying with you was the implication. Classic manipulation tactics designed to keep you dependent and controllable. But this new person in your life operates from abundance instead of scarcity. Being intimidated by your light doesn't exist. Wanting to see you shine brighter is real. Being threatened by your success isn't happening. Wanting to see you succeed more is genuine. Being insecure about your growth doesn't occur. Wanting to grow alongside you is the desire. Understanding that your elevation doesn't diminish them exists. That your happiness doesn't threaten them is clear. That your wholeness doesn't leave less for them is understood. This is what partnership looks like when both people are healed, when both people are secure, when both people are ready, and everyone who sees it recognizes it. Even people who don't know the details of your past can sense this is different, this is real, this is right. Real despair is happening right now with your past connection. Not the performed sadness posted about, not the manufactured victim energy shown to get sympathy, but actual despair. Because realizing something that's shattering an entire worldview is occurring. You moved on, completely, genuinely, permanently. You're not thinking about this person. You're not affected by this energy. You're not carrying any emotional charge about this situation whatsoever. You just released it all and kept moving. And that indifference is more painful than any revenge could ever be. Thinking mattering to you forever would happen existed before. Thinking occupying space in your mind permanently was the belief. Thinking you'd spend forever processing or healing from or being defined by this experience was the assumption. But you just let it go, like releasing a balloon, like closing a book, like turning a page. No drama, no ceremony, no significance, just release and forward motion. And understanding this can't happen, because in the mind creating this situation, being the main character of your story was the belief. Being the defining relationship was the assumption. Being the one you'd never get over was the conviction. But the reality is just being a lesson occurred, just being a chapter happened, just being an experience you grew from was the truth. You took what you needed to learn and you moved on. And that's creating devastation, because the ego can't handle being forgotten, the pride can't handle being irrelevant, the sense of self can't handle the fact that mattering to you anymore isn't reality. So spiraling is happening, making desperate moves is occurring. Trying to get your attention somehow is being attempted. Trying to create new drama is the effort. Trying to be relevant again is the mission. But nothing works, because operating on a different frequency now is your reality. Living in a different dimension is your existence. Playing a different game entirely is your life, and reaching you there isn't possible anymore. Watching you thrive while being stuck is happening. Seeing you loved while being alone is occurring. Witnessing you succeed while failing is the observation. And the community built to tear you down has turned completely. The people manipulated have abandoned ship. The support manufactured has evaporated into nothing. Complete isolation exists now. Facing the consequences of actions is the current reality. Living in the reality created is what's happening, and it's a harsh reality. Because people who build their lives on lies eventually have to live in the truth, and the truth is being exactly what got accused is the reality here. Being the toxic one is true. Being the manipulative one is accurate. Being the unstable one is correct. Everything projected onto you was really confession all along. There's something particularly painful about how quiet your victory is. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to post receipts. You didn't have to clear your name publicly. You didn't have to expose or drag or create a counter-narrative. You just lived, just existed, just continued being yourself. And that was enough. That was more than enough. That was everything. Because truth doesn't need a megaphone. Character doesn't need a platform. Integrity doesn't need validation. It just is. And people recognize it when seeing it happens, seeing it in you occurred, seeing the consistency was real, seeing the grace under pressure existed, seeing how you handled being lied about happened, seeing how you responded to attacks was visible, seeing your character in your silence was obvious, and it spoke louder than any defense could have. Thinking silence meant guilt was the belief. Thinking your refusal to engage meant having no defense was the assumption. Telling people your silence was proof of being right was what got spread. But people eventually realized your silence was actually power. It was confidence. It was knowing your truth so deeply that external validation wasn't needed. It was understanding that people who truly know you don't need convincing, and people who don't know you aren't worth convincing. That's a level of emotional maturity and spiritual development that can't be comprehended from where that person operates, because still operating from ego is happening there, still needing validation is occurring, still requiring attention is real, still being desperate for relevance is the state. And watching you operate from a completely different paradigm is showing just how far apart the growth has been. Now let's talk about the people who participated, the gang, the gossips, the ones who made your pain their entertainment. Learning something right now is happening, whether admitting it or not. Learning that lies eventually get exposed is the lesson. Learning that truth eventually surfaces is the reality. Learning that karma is real and it moves fast is the understanding. Learning that participating in cruelty without consequences isn't possible is the truth. Some are feeling guilt, some are feeling shame, some are feeling regret. Most won't apologize, most won't admit being wrong, most will just quietly back away and hope everyone forgets involvement happened. But carrying the lesson will occur, remembering what happened when believing lies without verification took place will stick. Remembering what happened when participating in harassment without cause occurred will remain. Remembering what happened when letting someone else's vendetta become entertainment will last. And maybe, hopefully, thinking twice next time will happen. Maybe asking for proof before believing accusations will occur. Maybe considering character before joining mobs will take place. Maybe remembering that real people get hurt when fictional narratives spread will stick. But whether learning happens or not isn't your concern. Your concern is moving forward. Your concern is building the life you've earned. Your concern is being present for the blessings arriving. You don't need their apologies. You don't need their admissions. You don't need their validation. You have something better. You have peace. You have truth. You have vindication. Not because fighting for it happened, but because living for it occurred. Not because demanding it took place, but because embodying it was real. Not because proving anything happened, but because remaining everything was your choice. You remained yourself. You remained authentic. You remained honest. You remained kind. You remained strong. And that consistency spoke louder than any defense ever could. Some are trying to rewrite their own involvement, telling themselves never really believing it is the story, convincing themselves just going along to get along was the truth. Minimizing participation is the attempt, but deep down, knowing is happening, knowing being active participants was real, knowing spreading the lies occurred, knowing adding fuel to the fire took place, knowing contributing to your pain was true, and that knowledge sits in conscience like a stone, heavy, uncomfortable, impossible to ignore. Some are watching your life now with a mixture of emotions, relief that you're okay, shame that trying to prevent that was their action, admiration for how you handled it, regret for involvement, but mostly discomfort, because your grace makes their cruelty more obvious, your peace makes their chaos more glaring, your growth makes their stagnation more visible. Dealing with a reputation problem of their own now is also reality, because people know participation happened, people remember who was in that gang, people saw who spread those lies, and in certain circles that's following them. People are less likely to trust their judgment, less likely to believe their word, less likely to give them the benefit of the doubt, because if participating in destroying someone innocent was possible for them once, what else are they capable of? If believing lies without verification happened before, will it happen again? If joining a mob without evidence occurred previously, is that still their pattern? These questions follow them now. These doubts color how people see them, and that's a consequence they'll carry for a long time. Chosen one, you're entering the harvest. Everything you planted is ready to bloom. All those days you chose growth over bitterness, all those nights you chose healing over revenge, all those moments you chose faith over fear, all those times you chose yourself when nobody else did. All of it is about to pay dividends. You're going to see results you didn't know were coming. You're going to receive blessings you didn't know were building. You're going to experience joy you didn't know was possible, because doing the work in the dark happened. Planting seeds nobody saw occurred, watering gardens nobody knew about took place, tending to growth that was invisible was your daily practice, and now the fruit is visible, now the flowers are blooming, now the harvest is ready, and it's abundant, it's overflowing, it's more than you imagined. And what's meant for you is here, or arriving soon. You can feel it. That's why the energy shifted. That's why the silence came. That's why the noise stopped, because the old chapter is closing completely. The lies have been exposed. The truth has been revealed. The gang has disbanded. The manipulator is isolated. The innocent is vindicated. The captive is free. And the victor is you. You won by simply being yourself. You won by maintaining integrity. You won by choosing peace. You won by doing the work. You won by refusing to become what got accused. You won by staying true when everyone believed lies. You won by standing strong when standing alone was reality. You won by trusting yourself when the world said you were wrong. You won by believing in love after experiencing hate. You won by opening your heart after it was broken. You won by choosing growth after experiencing pain. You won by this is your story, this is your season, this is your harvest, this is your victory, this is your vindication, this is your moment. Walk into it like the chosen one you are. Walk into it knowing you survived everything designed to break you. Walk into it understanding you're stronger than any lie told about you. Walk into it recognizing you're more powerful than any gang assembled against you. Walk into it celebrating that you're more authentic than any narrative created about you. Walk into it owning that you're more valuable than anyone who tried to diminish you. This is yours, all of it, the peace, the love, the success, the joy, the freedom, the truth, the victory. Take it, claim it, live it, because you earned it. You survived for it. You grew for it. You healed for it. You prepared for it. And now it's here. Do you hear that silence now? Listen closely. It's not emptiness. It's peace. It's not absence. It's freedom. It's not loss. It's space for something better. That silence is the sound of lies dying. That silence is the sound of truth winning. That silence is the sound of enemies retreating. That silence is the sound of blessings arriving. That silence is the sound of your new chapter beginning. And chosen one, this chapter is going to be beautiful. This chapter is going to be peaceful. This chapter is going to be true. This chapter is going to be yours. Welcome to it. Welcome home.